CANETT.
Mhm.
All right, everybody. Hello, and welcome into this Rugby New Jersey live stream interview. I'm Zach Lanning. I'll be kind of taking us through here. I have with us our special guest for this. I just want to give a quick intro, before we get into the questions here. Just to give a kind of background on who we're talking to. KAYLA CANETT, Eagle number 264 from Fallbrook, California. You picked up the sport at age of 14. You went on to become an All-American in both 7s and 15s, winning MVP honors at the Vancouver Rugby Festival in 2015, and also winning the high school national championship in 2013, 2014, and 2015, which is very impressive. You then made your Eagle 7s debut in 2016 at the Dubai 7s, and then you continued your winning ways as you went on to Penn State, winning a national championship in 2017. And that same year in 2017, you were selected to the women's Eagles 15 side to play in the World Cup. And now you can also add Olympian to that already stellar resume. So KAYLA, thank you so much for sitting down and joining us today. I'm just tired from reading all of the awesome things you've done, but I'm sure you are pretty exhausted yourself. Have you recovered from that trip to Tokyo yet, and the jet lag after playing in that old tournament? How are you feeling?
Yeah. So it's been about a little over 2 weeks since, and I've been to Cabo and for like 4 days with some of the girls. So it was nice to just relax by the pool there. And then 2 of my best friends visited me last week. So it's been nice to just, make my rounds around my friends that I haven't really been able to see for a while and just take my mind off of rugby. But I had my first solo training session back today, so back to it.
Good. Yeah. So no rest for the weary, but I am glad you kind of did get some time to disconnect, a well-deserved break after some awesome play over in Tokyo. This was your first Olympic experience. What did that mean to you, and how did you feel about it kind of going in?
It really meant a lot to me. Before COVID stopped and postponed the Olympics, I was making tours. I was in the team. I felt good. And then when we came back, I was still doing well, but then wasn't getting I didn't get selected for Dubai, and I initially didn't get selected for the Madrid tours. So that was whoa, really shocking and scary, so close to the tournament. So it was after Dubai, I had 3-ish months to really solidify myself and try and make the team. And so it was really rewarding, when I saw my name on the list and then finally getting able to run out there.
Yeah, so congrats on that. And just a note for anyone watching, make sure you put some questions in the comments section. We'll make sure we can ask KAYLA anything you want as we go through here. So please do that as we go through, and I'll try and pick those out as we pass along. But tell me a little bit about the physical trip to Tokyo, KAYLA. I mean, it seemed, I saw some unofficial timings when I was, on social media following the team. It seemed like it was a pretty epic journey to get over there.
Yeah. So our flight got messed up. So we were supposed to fly straight to Tokyo, or I don't remember which city, but we had to fly to Seoul. So you cross over Japan to get there. Then we got there at 5 a.m., had a 5-hour layover, and then had to go to Japan. And so we're okay, we made it. And then we had to be in the airport for a few hours with testing, COVID testing and stuff. And then finally a 3-hour drive down to Mimasaka, which was our base camp. So it was we made it to Japan, but our journey wasn't done yet.
But you were telling me that wasn't even the longest trip you kind of have been on for rugby. Is that true?
Yeah. So the longest flight or travel day I've ever had was 48 or 46 or something hours. And that's from Cape Town back home. So we would go Cape Town to Dubai to LAX and then drive down to San Diego. No, would not recommend.
No, you wouldn't do that trip for fun after this? It's crazy. I mean, do you feel like you get to see all these kind of cool places playing rugby? I mean, I guess the travel is a little difficult, but I mean, is that exciting to kind of go to all these cool locations?
Yeah. Especially like I've been to so many places just because of rugby. Like I would never have been able to go to if it wasn't the case. So it's really cool seeing different parts of the world through rugby and having friends in all those places as well.
But you'll pass on the 20-hour flights. Maybe there was a better way to get around. So back to the Olympics a little bit. What was it like to kind of be there with the rest of the team? How well acquainted are you with the other women that were playing? And what was that experience like? I know it was kind of tough with the COVID protocols to get out and be with other Olympians and the thing. I mean, how did you guys get along when you were over there? What was that like?
It was really good. I think that this is probably the closest team that I've been on. We really worked on our culture within the last like 3 years. So it was a really good space, and we all pushed each other to be our best. And I think the main like 10, 11 of us have been consistently on tours together. So it felt really good being able to go out on the Olympic stage.
And now, you opened the tournament with some really strong wins and played some really great rugby. Ultimately, I think you would say that the team kind of didn't achieve what you guys had set out there to achieve. Was that frustrating for you? How did you feel about kind of the end result?
Yeah, so I thought that we did everything we needed to do to put ourselves in a position going into the quarterfinal game. And I think like not any diss towards GB, but like if we any of the other teams, we were like, yes, this is who we need to be playing to be able to go through. And we played them in June in like a 3-4 game tournament thing, and we won all the games except we tied the last one. So I don't know if like we underestimated them or whatever, but they came out really strong, and I don't think we were able to find connection when we needed to. So that was really disappointing, not playing how we know we can play. But yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty grueling, the sevens tournament is a lot of matches, a lot of very physical, a lot of physical activity in kind of a short span. You play multiple games in a day. Is that tough? Does that kind of wear you down, especially when you're so far away from home? You're in kind of an unfamiliar setting. But I guess that's the game of sevens, right? Do you like that about the game as well?
Yeah, so with this, normally our tournaments are 3 day or 3 games one day, 3 games the next day. But for this, it was 2-2-2. So on our second day, we had our last pool play game, which is usually like your hardest one, and then the quarterfinal. So I thought we did really well against Australia in our final pool play game, and I thought that would be like the perfect warm up for our quarterfinal, which is one of the most important games of the tournament. So yeah, I think it was okay, but yeah.
So where do you go from here now? What do you take away from that kind of positive experiences? What can you build on? I think headed forward in your specific career, or kind of the team as a whole.
I think just taking away like the fact that we have to start games where we want to be rather than having like just slowly going through it, and then halftime we're like, oh, we need to wake up. I think that's something that our team can work on, is like from the go, like just working as hard as we can and putting ourselves in the best position to not have to scrape through games to be able to go through.
So yeah, I imagine there are other Olympics hopefully in your future. Are you excited about kind of getting back on that stage?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I probably will try it and go for another one. But the Sevens World Cup is next summer, And that's one thing that I'm missing on that list. So hopefully I can put my hand up for that.
You've got a great head start. You can check all the boxes of, every kind of level of rugby. So let's kind of start, I guess, then right from the very beginning with your rugby journey, we'll call it. Like I mentioned in the intro, you kind of picked the game up early in life, ish at 14, early for someone, I think, in the US. Was it love at first sight with rugby? Was it kind of like a slow, burn to kind of generate that interest? Or how did you feel like when you first picked up the sport?
So I played tackle football when I was younger and basketball. So I don't think that the, what is it called? Contact piece was like a shock to me. I liked it. But definitely within my first year, I think I fell in love with it. And just the people that I had around me they all loved the game. And so I think it was easy to follow like in their steps in a way.
Was there anything specifically, about the sport that separated from some of the other sports you were playing that you thought, drew you to it?
I think like, especially in 15s, just like the creativity you can have in the game. And even though it's like you're trying to smash each other out there, like there's a technique, or not a technique, but like you're trying to win the game, not just by smashing each other. There's other ways to get through it, I guess.
And did you feel like there were a lot of opportunities for you in the sport of rugby growing up? Were you able to kind of find different kind of ways to play the game easily, or is it something you kind of had to seek out?
I think that in Southern California, they did a really good job of like the levels that you had to like kind of go through the steps. So like I played for Fallbrook, and then once I was, good enough or whatever, I played for the regional team, and then from there. So I think my journey is like a really good teller of that system, because I think I went through pretty much every step that it took. So I think that there is a good system in it.
And how does it feel for you progressing through that system? I mean, does the game change a whole lot as you level up to the high school and the college, then, the pro international level, or is it basically rugby all the way through?
I think definitely I had lots of growing in high school, obviously, because, naturally like physically growing and learning the game as well. But I think once like my senior year, I really understood what was going on. And like you said, like in 2016 and 2017, I feel like I hit a growth spurt in talent. And I don't feel like I struggled necessarily going through whether it was, high school Americans or the sevens team or 15s. So I think, I don't know if I'm like an anomaly or whatever, but yeah, I think it was okay.
Was there a moment where you were like, this is what I want to do? Like, I want to get to the highest levels of the sport, international level wise, or was it just kind of, you kept, like checking the boxes, like I said, and kind of rolling through all the steps?
Well, one of the girls that was on the 2016 team was also from Fallbrook that went to the Olympics. And so I think seeing her do that, really, I was like, ooh, like I can do that too. Like she was my teammate like 1 year ago, really. So I think she inspired me really to, try and get on the international stage. And then like once all those things happened, I was like, ooh, like pretty good at this. So yeah, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah. What does rugby mean to you kind of, in your life? It's been such a huge part of your life for a good chunk so far. What does it mean to you as a sport, as a game, just kind of as a lifestyle?
It means a lot to me. I think I'm a person that really leads with like my heart rather than, my head. So it's probably not the best way to go about it in sometimes, but I've picked rugby. Rugby has been at like the forefront of many decisions. And I mean, I guess it worked out, but yeah, I don't know. It means everything. Like the rugby community, the lessons that I've learned from it has helped shape me into who I am today.
And now going through the game, did you have any mentors that really stood out, or any players you kind of looked up to or have tried to model your game after a little bit? Anybody you can point to kind of, that was like a guiding light, I guess, for you kind of through your career so far?
Growing up, it was probably Rochelle, the girl. We played the same position, fly half, and then on the sevens team now, and she's my teammate. Lauren Doyle is the fly half. So I liked watching them when I was growing up. There's other people. Damian McKenzie on the All Black 15s team. I feel like we both play similarly. We're small players, but like quick on our feet. So
he's my hair role model, but I haven't been able to live up to that name. But that's a great list of players. Do you feel any pride or kind of do you feel like the weight of that on your shoulders, and that you may want to be a role model for young girls in the sport in the country as well?
Yeah, in a way. Sometimes I feel like I could still be in high school. So it's weird. Like I feel like I'm still so young, but I'm not really that young anymore. But when I have free time, I like to go to the Fallbrook girls like practices if I can. And so it's nice, being there for them and teaching them what I can teach them and show them that I was in their shoes five-ish years ago. So yeah.
Do you find that when you go to these camps, like there are a large number of young girls who are interested in the game? Has it grown since you kind of were coming up?
I think it has grown. I don't know, like with COVID, that kind of put a, thing in it, but which is a bummer. It's like a setback for the game that may be hard to, come out of and get it back to where it was before. But I think there is a lot of interest in the game.
What do you think we can do, as kind of people who are involved in the sport? I'm here with Rugby New Jersey, kind of the governing body in the state for youth rugby, high school rugby. What can we do across the board to kind of help increase interest in the women's side of the game, and get more young girls and women out onto the pitch?
I think just giving girls and women the opportunities to play. If there's no, like leagues going on, like the WPL had to get shut off because of COVID, but the men's league, the MLR, is already back and running. So I think, and I don't know the stuff behind that, but just having the schedule set up so that girls and women can be playing right now, I think is really important to keep the game going.
And is there anything you would say to a young girl who may be on the fence about playing? It's like, wow, this looks kind of interesting, but it's a little intimidating at first. What would you say? What kind of interested you in the game in the first place, and how would you kind of sell it, to some of these younger players who are really interested in playing?
Well, my PE teacher told me to try it, so then I did. So I think it's just like if you do have an inkling that maybe you do want to play, just try it. Like there's no harm in trying it. If you don't like it, then that's okay. But it's a really great sport, and it helps bring people together, and it helps young girls with their confidence. And yeah, I think that they should just try it.
And what would you say to somebody who, isn't on the fence? They love the sport already, but they want to play it at the highest levels, like you have. What's the key to kind of following your footsteps along that path, and check all those boxes and make it to those different levels?
I think the biggest thing that has helped me and helped me get where I am is that I do the basics really well. And so, everything needs a good foundation. So if you have the good foundation of passing, kicking, running, whatever it is, it's way easy to be able to learn from that rather than, actually, I don't know where it's going with that. So I think, just do the basics as best as you can and work on those. And then from there, you can try and progress.
So we touched on this a little bit, but like, what is your kind of favorite thing about the sport at the moment? What do you enjoy the most? What's the best aspect, your favorite aspect?
My favorite is kind of like the off-field-ish, just like the friendships that you make, whether it's you're playing with someone or you're playing against someone. Some of my best friends are people that I've only ever played against and I've never played with. Like example, how GB beat us in the quarterfinal. 2 days later, when the tournament was over, we were all chatting like it never happened. And it's more than the wins and losses of the game. And it's about the friendships and connections that you can make with people.
Yeah, I'll say, I mean, this isn't an interview about me, but I played in college and I was very bad, but some of the best friendships that I have are from that time. Talk about your time at Penn State a little bit. Like, was that a fun experience? Did you have some friends that you made along the way there? That college rugby for me, that's the highest level I got to, but there was a lot of, that social aspect of the game was a really important part in my opinion.
Yeah, I loved Penn State. The two best friends that visited me are actually from the team. But yeah, I really enjoyed my time there. Yeah.
All right. I won't make you say who your best friends are because other friends might get jealous. I don't know, but you won't have to name them here. But tell me about your favorite place that you've been or match that you've played in so far in your career. Like, what has been the coolest experience?
I think that Australia is my favorite series stop because being from Southern California, it's kind of like another version of home. Although it has been very hot there when we play there. So I think that's my favorite just because it feels similar. And I was thinking about the game one, and I don't know if I've ever had a favorite game, but it's hard to pick. There's been many.
Yeah. So what was like the best game you ever played in where you just beasted mode on everybody? Like, what was like feeling it?
There was one game in high school, which glory days, I guess, that I don't usually like score really, well, at least now, but I was like in a really angry mood or something. And we were playing one of our rivals and we just put a whole bunch of points on them. And I remember that it was really fun in the moment. And there's like pictures where like, it's of like us playing, but in the background, you can see like everyone on the sideline, like, yeah. And that just popped in my mind.
That sounds awesome. And so what's next for you in the sport? What in the coming weeks, in the months, in the years we talked about checking those boxes. What's next?
So I think I'll be starting back practice with the team in early September. I don't know if I'm playing PR7s yet, which is in Memphis, but yeah, just getting back to training and getting ready for our next tournament, which will be in Dubai in early December, and going from there.
Very cool. All right. Well, I really appreciate your time. This was such an awesome conversation. And I wish you best of luck going forward in your career. You're always welcome in Jersey here if you want to swing by, and we got some camps and things, and you can talk to some of the aspiring players here. But again, thanks so much. Any parting words at all for the people on the stream here?
Thanks for having me. And I hope that I can come back to New Jersey soon. I actually played in high school because one of my cousins is from there, and I played on the New Jersey team in my senior year.
I should have asked that. So you've been to Jersey a few times. You got some Jersey experience.
Yeah, it was great.
That's
I don't
awesome.
remember if we won the tournament or not, but yeah.
This, I will say, we get a bad rap. This also, I will admit, this is not New Jersey behind me. I don't think we have any huge mountains like this in the background, but it's a good place. So I'm glad you had a good time when you were here. But again, KAYLA, thank you. And we will